Was Kalen DeBoer in Wang Chung? Because everybody had fun tonight.
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We'll talk about FanDuel in just a little bit. I want to thank you every day for being here every day. Thank you, newbies, for being here today. And thanks, everybody, for making us your first listen every single day. You guys are the best. Jimmy, I have never passed a kidney stone because I've never had a kidney stone. But I'm assuming that game is what it feels like when you've passed the kidney stone and I guess it's in the toilet or wherever, and you flush it and you're like, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I feel so much better. I feel so much better. I did not know that a game against ULM could make me feel so much better about the future after last week. I didn't know that, but I do.
Well, I want to tap the brakes on that because I agree. I mean, I think if
you're going to let me feel better, I'm sorry. I'm feeling better.
If me and you had scripted how we wanted it to go, boom. That literally was according to a script that we would have written, like, oh, how we would love to see this play out. I would just say that what I said leading up to the week still exists, which is it's got to be week to week, game to game. And yes, you improved. Love the juice. Love the energy. Love the playmaking on both sides of the ball. You improved. Improve again next week. Improve again next week. All you did was earn the right to play Wisconsin, and I think they played with some excitement. It generated excitement in the fans in the stadium with Luke here, with me here. I'm excited, very excited to see so many players participate and play well. And again, last week I was complaining about the amount of players participating. This week, not so much, because this is the type of game where you do get to play everyone. And boy, very excited about the second half guys, but even new guys in the first half, Luke. 2 true freshmen in the starting lineup tonight. 2.
You know, it's almost impossible about where to start, because I'm going to say this out loud, and I'm going to say it the rest of the week, and people are going to say that I'm trying to create a quarterback controversy or something. I'm not. Ty Simpson is our starter. I'm behind him 100%, but I have never seen love until I saw Keelan Russell throw a pass. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was like Sydney Sweeney and Brad Pitt had a baby, and it just comes out, and you're like, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It was crazy. He just flicks his wrist, and it's a dart. Okay, I'm not going to start there though, because I do want to say this: that Ty Simpson was fantastic. We've been talking all week about some anxiety issues he has going on. I mean, I don't know about literal diagnosis, but you could see it.
He panicked a little. He panicked at Florida State. But by the way, how can we complain about him panicking when all of us were panicking?
100%.
The only one.
100%. Now, he was fantastic. Now, what was he, 17 of 17?
Yeah, and had they left him in, one of the things I'm sort of semi-complaining about, complaining is not the right word, but it would have been nice to see him set the school record. He was 3 completions short of that. 19 for 19 is the school record to start a game, 3 completions away, and I hated that he didn't get the opportunity. On the other hand, this was the opportunity to get extended looks at Austin Mack and Keelan running the offense, and that's more vital than a school record. But Ty sort of earned or deserved that school record because he was just fantastic. And I know I share your excitement over not just Keelan, but I thought Austin Mack was very good too.
He was.
They were very good, and I'm excited about that. But what I'm most excited about is 2025 Alabama, and the quarterback of the 2025 football team is Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I think Ty Simpson, first of all, he 100% solidified himself as a starter. There's no doubt about it. But what I'm not completely panicked if something were to happen to him. And even if that meant we go straight to Austin Mack, like we did tonight, I think Austin Mack earned the right because of longevity as much as anything and talent that he deserved to go in there second.
He was good in those scrimmages. I mean, we don't talk about him too much on the show, but in the 2 scrimmages, Austin Mack was very good, and that's why Keelan had yet to leapfrog him, because Austin was so good in those scrimmages.
If Stevie Wonder were wearing one of those sleeping masks in a snowstorm in a dark room with a blanket over his head, he could still see that Keelan Russell is some kind of freakazoid person born to throw the synthetic pigskin. That's what he was born to do. You're going to have to pump the brakes for me on him.
I've comped him to Jaden Daniels. Nothing he did tonight changed my mind about that, which is saying a lot. I've compared. I think Keelan has Tua and Bryce level ability. And I think with some Hurts running ability too. Now he didn't show a lot of. That's why I've compared him to Jaden Daniels, because to me his skill set's like Jaden Daniels. Yeah, I'm just saying Bryce and Tua are 2 of the most gifted quarterbacks I've ever seen Alabama. I think Keelan might be that level of gifted. Now, who's his game like? I think Jaden Daniels is who his game is like. But Jaden Daniels was kind of a project in the making. Jaden played 6 years of college football. His first 2, 3, even 4 years, you're like, boy, he's got some gifts. Is he ever going to be great? Yeah. He became great late. Keelan might be great quicker, but their games are similar.
I'm 100% compare them to. I'm 100% on board with that. That's a very good comp, and he blew me away. But and again, I'm going to have to teach myself to not just keep going back to those passes, because there were so many good things. Jimmy, and we're going to jump around a little bit here. It's not like I took notes during the game. In fact, I purposely didn't, because I was like, I don't really know how we're going to show up and do here. And then like the first play, we get a penalty, and you're like, oh God. And then what happens is Kevin Riley. And Kevin Riley was he was a ton of fun. Okay. Then there's, how about Dre Kirkpatrick Jr.? Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. That is a man who wants to. Jimmy, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. I've missed on a lot of things, but I told you, and I told everybody that would listen to me, Dre Kirkpatrick is a ball hawk. He's the kind of guy who creates turn. He's around the ball. You don't know how it happens.
I was told people, based on nothing but his senior year film, nothing. If you only looked at his senior year film, that's a top 100 prospect in America. I've loved Dre, and boy, he's such an instinctive playmaker. But we say that knowing that for the son of an NFL player, it took him a while to get things going. I watched him play in the 10th and 11th grade. I don't honestly say here, I thought Dre was going to be a UAB level player. Watch him in the 10th and 11th grade. 12th grade? Who is this guy? And boy, he showed out in the second half, probably earned himself, a longer look, later. But how about guys like Lazier Brooks or Lazier Brooks playing for Ryan Williams?
Looking like Ryan Williams.
He was fantastic in his first start. London Simmons starting on the defensive line because Tim Keenan's hurt, Jeremiah Beeman's hurt. London Simmons, 3-star type prospect in the recruiting process, but starting as a true freshman, but every reason to believe he's going to be good. But gosh, so many guys flashed in that second half. That's exciting. AK Deer with that great run at the end. But
let me tell you how big the night was. AK Deer's our leading rusher.
That's amazing. And
that's amazing.
If there's one, I don't want to call it complaint, but still think we need to run the ball better than we are, and that's going to be a thing. We need to run the ball better. But let me ask you, biggest story on this Alabama football team after 2 games? I'm not so sure it's Kevin Riley. I mean, who saw that coming?
I think it is Kevin Riley. Now, again, it's the biggest story in the sense that if you had said, okay, who's the biggest surprise that is going to be a key contributor that you're like, I want to use him going forward. I mean, the surprise for a lot of people out there that didn't know are going to say, oh my God, Keelan Russell's amazing. Okay. I know you're doubting me. You know how much I've loved Keelan. I loved Keelan before he was
Yep.
What do you call it? A thing in your father's eye, a gleam in your father's eye. That's what it was. A sty in your father's eye. I don't know.
Loving it for a long time. No, I love him too. I just don't want to detract from, Ty, or like you said, we're not creating a controversy. We're just saying, boy, we're excited about when Keelan becomes the quarterback, whenever that is. But all the quarterbacks were great. The numbers are ridiculous. The only numbers that weren't ridiculous, like you said, were the rushing yards and the fact that A.K. Deere could become the leading rusher with what amounts to one snap late in the fourth quarter. We got to run the ball a little better. I think the offensive line, I'm not going to give them an A. How about that? The offensive line gets a B or B plus because it wasn't bad by any means, but we got to run the ball a little better if we're going to have success against the really good teams. And today proved we got some really good teams ahead. And I do want to give one shout out. My wife will like this because she's Mississippi State beating Arizona State, especially in the way that they did it. Shout out to Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State for beating maybe the best team in the Big 12 when everyone said Mississippi State would be the worst team in the SEC. Maybe they are, but they beat the best team in the Big 12.
I'm going to say this. Shout out to Florida State. I know they played, a 2A team out of the AISA, but they looked amazing. They had the biggest win in program history or something.
We said it all week. What if Florida State's really good? And guess what? Maybe today wasn't proof of that they are, but maybe. You know what a really, really good team would do? Beat that team 77-6 or whatever they did. That's what a really good team would do.
Let me say, we got so much to get into. But I know on our title, I'm already getting some blowback from some friends of mine who happen to be Auburn fans. Like, oh, y'all are back. I'm going to say we're back because I'm excited right now. I know technically we're not back, but if last week was a Saban that made a loss that would make Saban throw up in his mouth, this week is a win that would make Saban stand up and shed a tear, even though he's a cyborg and he's not capable of tears. This was a vintage Saban win, and I know ULM isn't any good. It's not, as we've all learned, it's not about who you're playing. It's about what you do. Yeah. And what we did was amazing tonight.
Auburn played them last year and beat them 48-14. Texas played them last year. Final Four Texas played them last year, beat them 51-3. So Alabama beat this team who's probably a year better than they were a year ago with their new coach, Bryant Vincent, who's, signed a bunch of Alabama kids on that team. And I'm not saying they're good. They're not good. They're just a middle of the road or less Sun Belt team. But what I loved, Luke, is we normally see Alabama play a game like this on cruise control or autopilot. What we hope to see is, what is Alabama going to look like going into a game like this fired up with something to prove? That's different. Flip what happened between last week and this week. And what I mean by that is sometimes you come out of the gate because you're playing an opponent, you played great, and then week 2 you're playing Louisiana Monroe and you kind of sleepwalk through it. Look what Alabama did last year in week 2 against South Florida, who, as we know, is pretty good. Ask Florida. But I'm just saying, we don't normally see an A-plus Alabama effort against a team like that. And now we saw the result, when it happened.
Michael Scott once said this in the office when he did his, what was it, like Lazy Scranton video for like the new recruits that were coming in from the Stanford branch. He was like, I thought they'd like it, and I would have given it an A, but then I forgot there's an A++, and that tonight Alabama gets an A++. Gotta tell you guys about DoorDash, which I may be hitting the DoorDash here in just a little bit. I'm hungry. I hadn't had dinner. I was so excited to watch all this. I thought this week was going to kind of stink, and it's been great though. And DoorDash is going to hit the spot because it's fantastic. It's the weekend. It's time to look back and crown this week MVP of college for the day, and talk about the NFL tomorrow, and then talk some Locked On Bama again tomorrow and all that stuff. Look, for Alabama, my player of the weekend is going to be, I I don't want to do Jeremy Bernard because I did Ty Simpson last week, sort of undeservedly. So I'll go Jeremy Bernard with 3 big touchdowns, and he should have had another one, but it got taken away on a BS offensive pass interference call. Anywho, Jeremy delivered in a big way, and he had a bunch of big plays that got Alabama right out of the gate. He is our leader. I love the way everybody was talking about him, and he delivered just like DoorDash is going to deliver for me later on. He has been awesome. DoorDash is awesome every single time I use them. You need to go use DoorDash. If you hadn't done it, I'm sure you have. Everybody uses DoorDash. What's wrong? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? DoorDash is awesome, and they do a great job. And all the restaurants you need, man, they'll help you out. DoorDash, they got it going on till the break of dawn, and you want to use some DoorDash. So that's what you're going to do, and what I'm going to do here in just a second. And maybe my DoorDasher will be driving a Mazda. Jimmy, that's how a professional segues. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out, yo. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda crafts more than safety. It's won more 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick Awards than anyone else. Like you didn't know that. As an athlete focuses on every detail, Mazda does the same, from metallic accents to hand-stitched Napa leather. Man, they got it all. It's the small details that make the big plays. And just like there's more to every player, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved by Mazda. Man, I said that Mazda live read with my whole chest.
My first car is
so
Mazda.
Fired up right now. I mean, like, this is all I can do at 52, like middle-aged white dude watching Bama play. Like, that's all I can do is give you my live read with all I got. That's all I got left.
My first car was Mazda. And speaking of DoorDash, I'm like, hey, DoorDash, I'm right across the street from the stadium. The game just ended. Can you be here in 10 minutes? They probably can, because it's DoorDash. It's called DoorDash.
I do love DoorDash, and I'm going to use them right after this podcast. I promise y'all that. Listen, all right, let's try and stay organized here for just a second. I do want to give a shout. I don't want to forget anybody. Like, how about Dre Kirkpatrick causing the fumble, and I've been lauding praise with Dre Kirkpatrick and Jimmy, but nobody. QB Reese's mama wasn't more proud of QB Reese than I was when he picked up that fumble. And I wanted to jump through the screen and block that dude for him, because I would have given a lot.
He made multiple plays in the second half, not just the big play on the scoop. QB Reese made multiple good plays. He looked really good. And I'm going to put this on tape right now. So, y'all may haunt me with this, because I'll go ahead and disagree with the move I think Alabama's likely to make in January in the new transfer portal window, because there's a new transfer portal window, and now there's only going to be one. I'm sure that rule is going to pass. That rule hasn't officially passed, but it will. I'm going to be upset right now by saying I think Alabama's going to go in the transfer portal and sign an inside linebacker in that next transfer portal. I want to go with QB Reese. I want to ride with QB.
I want to ride with QB Reese.
I don't want someone from the portal. I want to go with QB Reese, and I think we saw tonight in the second half why. That kid is a dude and instinctive and a hitter and a leader. I love me some QB Reese now.
I had to put this comment up. Paul Kirk says, Luke, where's your Bama gear, brother? I know. I'm sorry. I got sort of caught up watching football, and I kept saying I was down in my little man cave basement thing watching all the games. And I was like, got to go get a shirt on for after the game. And like, I just never did it because I'm lazy and terrible. But I'm just going to, how about if I just hold this? If I just hold this football? It's my anxiety football. Rest of the podcast.
Who signed I see that it's signed.
It is signed by Nick Saban. That was I kind of didn't want people to see that, because they're like, you can't let it go, can you? And then my other football is signed by Ryan Williams, who didn't even play tonight.
My big fat giant head stand right in front of my stuff. That's my little number 2 helmet signed by the Deuce himself. It's David Palmer. Palmer
nice.
signed miniature helmet.
I dig that. All right. So again, I just want people to know how excited I personally was for QB Reese. If you listen to this tonight, like if somehow the algorithm kicks up on your YouTube or Twitter or Hinge or whatever, I don't even know where all these things go. Is Hinge? I don't know. I think it is. Okay. So QB Reese, you all know I love me some QB Reese. Okay, and I had to say that. I didn't want to forget it.
About back-to-back Cam Calhoun plays when he racked that dude that tried to hurdle him and followed that up with a breakup in the end zone, which was Monroe's, by the way, their best chance to score. Cam Calhoun, fantastic play in the end zone, preserving the shutout. One play after he racked up the dude that tried to Najee Harris him.
How about, yeah, that's true. How about Cam Calhoun's attitude? Look, Cam, again, tell me if I'm wrong. And if you're on defense, you didn't get a ton of opportunities regardless because it was a lot of 3 and outs, a lot of turnovers caused and all those kind of things. But Cam Calhoun, I didn't notice him any other time during the night for the most part. But those 2 plays, he played them as if they were the opening 2 plays of the SEC title game.
He's got to be frustrated. He's not playing.
I appreciate you, Cam.
Yeah. He's got to be frustrated. He's not playing more early. He came here to be a starter. He's not. He's got to be a little frustrated, yet he goes out there and proves he should be playing more. And by the way, last week I got on the staff really bad about over substituting and playing too many players. Obviously I'm going to rewatch this tape and see how they do it, but I was much more on board with how they handled the substitutions today. I felt like early in the game when the game was still undecided and you're playing with the ones, I just felt the substitution pattern was better. They did play the quarterbacks a little early for me in the sense I wanted to see Ty break that record, but it was so valuable.
Fair enough.
Mack and Keelan Russell, those snaps, while they could run the offense. And but overall, shout out to the staff. We were hard on them last week. We should continue to be hard on them because this is a big job and it demands a lot. But hey, last week we're going, it's an F, it's an F. This week is an A. That was an A, maybe even an A plus. Now, flush it. Now, Wisconsin, not Georgia. No one needs to think about that. Wisconsin. Use this week to improve your football team.
Now, I want to say this. EWC Clothing says, relax. It's just UL Monroe. Again, if you want to approach it that way, that's fine. And a lot of times I subscribe to that. This was different in the sense that the whole team, everybody over there has been catching strays and direct hits all week. And I'm talking about people already talking about who we going to hire next. And I even said, it was funny. I went to a friend of mine's house at halftime and there was an Alabama couple there, mostly Auburn people, but an Alabama couple there. And the guy said, man, where was this last week? And what have you and I said all week long? Everybody's going to say, where was this last week?
Nope, not saying that.
Don't do that. Don't
do
it. Just appreciate this moment because, and again, I'm trying to get us back on track, but I don't think y'all came to this live podcast at 10:37 on a Saturday after that win to hear us be greatly organized. I think y'all wanted to hear some scattered thoughts because that's what we kind of got. Jimmy's drinking out of a solo cup, and I have no idea what kind of purple drink he's got floating in that thing. But
water.
But here's this. Let's go back to Kevin Riley for a second. I'm not saying when Jam Miller comes back, Jam Miller's a starter, but I have zero problem at all with putting Kevin Riley in next. And the other thing that I thought was they ran that play to Kevin Riley. Austin Mack ran it like 2 times in a row where he comes out of the backfield and it's like a wheel route, but just not a very deep one, I guess. And he just, and then Ty Simpson did it one time with him too. They like his hands.
A lot of the design there. And again, I think Kevin Riley might be the biggest story on the team in terms of what we didn't see coming. He looked like the number 4 back, the number 5 back, but he's clearly outplayed the other guy. He clearly has outplayed Richard Young and Daniel Hill to me. He's clearly the best back. Now, when Jam comes back, he should be RB1. And I think one of the interesting questions I'm going to pose to Luke this week, a big story is Justice Haynes. I know Michigan lost.
Yeah, he looked good.
Justice Haynes had a big game. But here's a question I have, and maybe this is just being too full of Bama. Let me ask you, and you can think about this for a day or two. Let's say Justice didn't leave, but Jam Miller left, and Jam Miller is 100% healthy. Is he doing the same thing at Michigan that Justice is? I would say that maybe he is. I don't rule that out. I don't think Justice was a lot better or any better than Jam when he was here. Now, some of that's on the staff, some of it's on the way we're running the offense. I'm just saying that there's a lot of, boy, Alabama never should have let Justice Haynes go kind of talk out there. But I'm like, well, y'all are selling Jam a little short.
Brett Harrison brings up a good point. He says he agrees with Cole Kubelik that he thinks Parker Brailsford is our best player. Now, I'm not sure I 100% agree with that. I think it's certainly something to discuss. But I'll say
point.
I love that Parker Brailsford's getting his flowers. And right after he did that, he had to snap and pull, and he looked so effortless. Y'all don't know how hard that is. Like snap a accurate snap, and then very quickly pull to your right to find the guy you're supposed to block. It ain't easy.
He's definitely the best offensive lineman. That to me has gotten to where it's not even close.
Yeah,
Parker's the best offensive lineman, but Jeremy has been really good. So if it's not Parker on offense, it's Jerm, and I'm not sure there is a best defensive player, frankly. And I mean that as part compliment to the unit as a whole, and part, no one has really stood out in terms of that first group, in terms of who has been the best player. If I had to pick one, it might surprise a lot of people, but after 2 games, if you ask me who's been the best player on defense, I'd probably say Xavier Brown.
Yeah, and boy, I don't even know that his name got mentioned tonight. If it did, I didn't hear it.
He doesn't give up receptions.
Yeah.
He didn't give up receptions.
So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, he blankets his dude. And
how about Justin Jefferson getting a batted down pass and an interception after he very famously got blown up last week, and he make again bad last week, good this week, if not great. Every 15th comment is like, it's just ULM. I'm going to tell you right now, I know I said in my title, we back, but I'm only doing that to sucker you in right now so you can hear us talk about it. I don't think we're 100% back, but I dang sure feel better. And
we'll be back until we look good against a really good football team. And that wasn't the case tonight. We looked really good against a completely outmanned football team that we should have beat by 5 touchdowns. Remember how I said all week, the benchmark about a good performance was that point spread. We practically doubled the point spread.
No, we did double it.
Yeah, terrible.
Exactly. It was, it was 36.5 at its height. It ended up at 34.5.
So we not only passed that benchmark that I said would be the objective measurement of good performance, we raced past it. So it was a great performance against an outmanned team that you should have beat by 5 touchdowns. Beat them by basically 10 touchdowns. What does that mean for Wisconsin? As far as I'm concerned, nothing. Go beat Wisconsin. They're a much better team than Monroe. They're not as good as Florida State, by the way. They're not. I've seen enough already to pass that judgment. Florida State's better than Wisconsin. But
that's okay.
Wisconsin's a challenge. And they're a Big Ten team full of kids with multiple Big Ten offers. Luke Fickell's a good coach. Proud tradition. Beat Wisconsin and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And just because it is ULM doesn't mean after last week especially, I'm not going to enjoy this moment. If you didn't look out there as an Alabama fan and see our guys out there like having fun and celebrating and enjoying when AK Deer scored, when Keelan Russell hit MJ Cherwin. MJ Cherwin sounds like the worst rapper in Greene County. I texted you that. I mean, it just sounds like we're having American Idol. Is MJ Cherwin going to try out?
Awesome that a walk-on not only is playing but scoring. That is just really cool. And some buddies of mine met MJ at the Yay Alabama thing and spoke so highly of him. So it was just really cool moment for sure.
I mean, MJ Cherwin sounds like somebody that is signing autographs from a sitcom he was on in the early 80s, and he's signing autographs at the airport from 12:15 to 12:30 next Thursday. You know,
Wow.
But he caught a touch. I was very oddly specific on that. I don't know why. MJ, we love you here at Locked On Bama, and we'd love to have you be a part of our Locked On Bama family. Somebody that is a part of our Locked On Bama family is Upside. And look, I have Upside. I'm going to show y'all on my app because, I don't mind showing you. It's Upside. I don't even know if that shows up. There it is.
It is.
And so if I want to go to Circle K tomorrow and I'll have to go get gas, I'll just click on the Upside app when I get near there. And it's at right now, the Circle K, you get 4 cents a gallon back. Okay, so if I get 10 gallons, that's 40 cents back. But, it adds up over time. I've already told Jimmy, I said, my lifetime earnings are just about $800 over about a year and a half. And you say, okay, not a big whoop. It's just extra money. There's money right there. Upside's here, we'll help you get it.
Who doesn't bend over on the sidewalk to pick up a free $800? Who doesn't?
Exactly. Download the free Upside app right now and use promo code football. And then for that first fill up, you get 25 cents per gallon on that fill up. So what I do is I'd go to this empty, and then you go to this Circle K. I'm talking about you get 4 cents a gallon plus the 25 cents. That's 29 cents a gallon. You get 15 gallons. What is that? $600, $700? I don't do math well. It doesn't matter.
I didn't do the point spread thing right just 5 minutes ago.
It's free money. Go get it with Upside. The app's free. Everything about it's free. Not only is it free, it's here's some money. We don't want it. You take it. That's the good people at Upside. Now we got FanDuel. FanDuel is fantastic. We love them. Can't wait to use them tomorrow. The NFL season is here. It's already here. And FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if you bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Can't beat that with a stick. You can't beat that even if you filled up with Upside before you came over there. It makes every game more exciting. Whether you're watching your team or you just keep an eye on a fantasy lineup, whatever it is, FanDuel is going to make it more fun for you. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place that first $5 bet. And if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to bet across the app. Yeah, we're just sitting here giving you all this kind of money at Locked On Bama. That's why you stay up late, because we give you the big bucks. What is that at your house?
Yeah, well, I'm right outside the stadium, so
is that the police? Is somebody trying to catch AK Deer still? He's running through the stadium.
Still running. I had to send the popos after him.
And I know what you said earlier, the run blocking, you'd like it still be a little better. Okay, I'm fine with it. I'm going to tell you something. Part of me is I'm kind of glad it wasn't just the blocking that led to my being impressed with the running backs. Kevin Riley had to break some tackles. If you had told me going into this season, who's the least likely to break tackles, I would have said Kevin Riley based on size alone.
Can't believe he's this effective in the tackle box and between the tackles and being physical, out physicaling maybe the other backs like Richard Young and Daniel Hill, who are so much bigger than he is. But I think Kevin Riley, I would certainly nominate as one of the biggest stories after 2 games. And I'm not knocking the running game, and I'm not knocking the offensive line. I'm just saying that needs to improve. We need to be even better running the ball than we were today. It's something to work on, something to improve. Because Wisconsin, again, a chance to improve. And all Alabama did today, I love they played with juice. Love they played with energy. Love they were excited to play football. Don't be the fan. I know the fans out there right now, they're saying, y'all are crazy. This is just Monroe. Y'all are overplaying this. Well, did you think Alabama would only win this game 24-10? Because
why did the line drop? The line went from 36.5 to 34.5. Somebody thought Monroe was going to cover.
If before the game you thought Alabama would only win by a couple of touchdowns or 20 points or not show up again, and they won in the manner which they did, how are you not excited? So now if you were the fan that said, no, they're going to win this game 73-0, okay, then say it's just Monroe. But I don't think many fans out there were picking this score. I know I didn't. I said 45-7 and took a little bit of grief for it. Look at a similar score. And I was told by several people I was being way too optimistic when I said 45-7. So that's why Alabama outperformed expectations today. Just like last week, they underperformed to expectations. But let's see what happens this week against a pretty good Wisconsin team. I have a lot of respect for Luke Fickell. He's clearly a good coach. I think Wisconsin has really struggled in the NIL era, is kind of what I'm blaming on. Just their talent level isn't probably what it should be, and that's probably an NIL type thing in this day and age. So, but I'm excited about the opportunity to watch Alabama next week at 11 a.m. Probably going to be a bit hotter than it was in the stadium tonight. The weather was just fantastic.
This is how well things went for Alabama tonight. Okay, so
good.
We finally get stopped because Marshall Pritchett's catch is called a non-catch. And we line up to kick the field goal. He kicks it. It splits the uprights. It's gorgeous. And they blow the whistle and said the previous play is under review. And I'm looking at people who are with me. I'm like, this is why I hate college review. Can't they just say, y'all, let's let this one go? And so they review it. And it turns out he made the catch unbelievably, because I thought it hit the ground too, but he caught it.
You're at TV and I'm in the stadium, but tell me, on the 2 touchdowns that were called back, one on a pass interference, I couldn't even believe they called pass interference. I thought it was like a holding call or something.
It was so dumb. Really what it was, the defender was so slow to get out, to get on his break and to go with Jeremy. Jeremy just sort of plowed through him. It was like, if anything, if Jeremy was a lesser man, he probably falls down himself, and they probably called defensive pass interference.
So Jeremy was making a play on the ball, but the DB was not.
No, it was before the ball was thrown. Jeremy stopped to make it, like he was going to make his break, right? And the defensive back just sort of got tangled up and like couldn't move. And Jeremy just like, well, I'm going this way, and whether you're in my way, that's your problem. And so I guess technically, if you want to get super technical about it, yeah. But if Jeremy were, let's say, Ryan Williams, Jeremy's they talked about it on the broadcast. Somebody said they were watching Alabama like warm up, and somebody said, who is that offensive lineman catching deep balls? He said, that's Jeremy Bernard. He goes, oh my God, he's huge. And huge, like bulky, obviously not super tall. But if Ryan Williams does that, he probably falls down, and they probably call defensive holding because it's not necessarily pass interference, because I don't think the ball was in the air.
And I didn't think there was a holding call on Alabama.
There was a hold on another touchdown, which I hated. I think it was on Ty Simpson's run for another touchdown. But he ended up, and I'm fine with that, because in both plays, in both instances, we ended up with a touchdown later anyway. But I was fine with that one because if our memory serves, that was the pass to Isaiah Horton for a touchdown, who I also thought looked pretty good. Now, let me say one other thing for the ones out there saying, hey, it's just ULM. It is. And just like Ohio State, it was just Grambling State, right? But here's the thing. When I didn't watch the Ohio State Grambling game because you knew what it was going to be. We didn't know ULM was going to get beaten this way. We knew Ohio State was going to put up whatever they wanted to. And in fact, when they showed the highlights, there's at least one touchdown pass to Jeremiah Smith where he's so open. It's like, everybody's praising the 87-yard touchdown, but he was so open. He could have moonwalked to the end zone from the 50. So it just didn't matter. And see, we didn't have a lot of that. And that's why I'm like, it's okay that we didn't just open up these gaping holes for our running backs. Because what I saw tonight was, hey, Kevin Riley can break a tackle. Dre Washington can take a hit. We had some dudes. Look, it wasn't like ULM wasn't hitting. They laid the lumber a couple of times on us. So, and somebody asked, was the targeting legit? Yes, it was legit. It's one of those where like
the Dre targeting
20 years ago, it's not called. In fact, everybody says, hey, don't come over the middle. But now it is a targeting. It's 100% of targeting. I wish it wasn't. It is.
I thought the Dre call targeting was fair. And I did see that one clearly. That was fair, but I also don't think that Dre did anything particularly wrong.
It wasn't malicious.
I appreciate the physicality. Yeah, keep being physical. This time the call went against us, but keep playing physical. Big fan of what I saw from Dre and QB and a lot of those backup defenders and a lot of the backup offensive players too. Just a great night for Alabama. But now I want to, we used to have a 24-hour rule. I want to have like a 2-hour rule. Now, Wisconsin.
And I'm 100% with you. And I do want everybody to understand, like, Jimmy aren't usually this giddy, even after a big win sometimes. But y'all don't understand.
After last week? Whew.
y'all don't understand the conversations we even have with ourselves or with other people. We're like, we're on the podcast. We try to be a little more even keeled, but we were down, so this is, I feel good. And y'all ain't bringing me down by telling me this was just ULM. I know the difference in a team that's good that beats the heck out of somebody and a team that just beats the heck out of somebody because other team sucks.
The great Saban teams didn't always beat an outman team like the team did today.
Exactly.
So it's so easy to do. Why didn't we do it repeatedly throughout the Saban era? But that wasn't the case. I just appreciate the juice and the energy and the effort and all of those things that were questioned. They answered the bell. Now, what does it mean? It means we're 1-1 and you play Wisconsin next week.
Shout out to the crowd. I don't know what it was like. You were at the game. I wasn't. I don't know what it was like in the stadium. I'll say this. I was blown away at what I felt like was an energetic crowd because I'd been watching football all day. I watched the Clemson game. It looked like there were 17 people there. And they were miserable. They were unhappy. And then they screw around and beat Troy 27-16. Games like that, LSU, they looked totally disinterested. They won 27 to whatever they did or whatever the score was. We didn't do that. And the crowd showed up, and I appreciate y'all. So the ones that went, y'all the real MVPs outside of Keelan Russell's throwing.
Yeah, it was a good crowd, good energy in the building, a lot of excitement and support for the guys. So that's great. And again, 1-1, Wisconsin's next.
Somebody did say, is Brewster's open? I got a hankering for some ice cream. Look, I'll tell you something. Them boys can go get whatever flavor they want. Rocky Road, salted caramel, waffle cone. I don't care. Go get it all tonight, guys. Enjoy yourself. But as Jimmy says, we've got Wisconsin next week. That's going to do it for this live episode. I've got to settle down and try and get some sleep. But tomorrow we will be back in the morning at some point to talk about this some more. We'll be a little more organized, not a lot more, but a little more. And we appreciate all you guys being with us tonight. We had over 1,000, about 1,100 people here at one time. So for ULM, that's pretty awesome, man. We appreciate you guys so much. Truly, truly do. And big win. So until next time, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.